Hi everybody, it's Olive, and today I'm going to do the Library Lovers book tag. This tag was created by Pie Ann Books, and I will leave a link to the original video down below. Question number 1, how often do you visit your local library? I would say that I visit my local library anywhere between 2 and 4 times a month. Sometimes I'm there every week, sometimes I'm not. If we're talking about visits to the Overdrive site and checking out e-content, then it's even more frequent than that. But yeah, I am definitely a frequent library user. Question number 2. This is a long one, so I'm gonna have to read it. Are you the type of person who checks out more books than you know you can read, or are you someone who only checks out the exact number of books you intend on reading before they are due? I've seen some other people do this tag, and my response is kind of similar to theirs, is that I'm somewhere in between. When I go to my library, I want to take out a bunch of stuff, but I do have a good amount of restraint when I go to the library. I only ever want to check out as much as I can read. I get this really intense feeling of guilt when I'm taking something out of a library that I know I'm not going to be able to get to. And I always feel guilt if I'm returning something to the library that I have not read, especially if I've renewed it the maximum amount of times and just didn't get around to reading it. That happens pretty frequently for me. I take out all these books and I want to read them all and my intentions are really great, but I just can't get to them for one reason or another. So it's always my intention to only take out as much as I know I can read, but in execution, I end up returning books that I haven't read. Question number 3, how old were you when you got your first library card? I'm honestly not 100% sure. I moved around a lot when I was really young, so my guess is maybe around 5. There were always a ton of books in our house. My mom was a teacher, but I don't know exactly when I got my first library card. I know when we eventually moved to the town that we settled down in and I grew up in, that I got a library card really young and then definitely took out huge stacks of books, and I read most of them. Question number 4, do you go to your library to look for a particular book, or do you check out anything that piques your interest? I usually go to my library with a purpose. I always have very specific intentions when it comes to checking out a book from the library. Very infrequently will I just browse the shelves. My TBR is so huge as it is, I really don't need to go looking for new books that interest me. I have tons of books that interest me and I need to be working my way through them. So yes, I'm always going to my library with a purpose, looking for specific books. Question number 5, do you use your library card only to check out books, or do you check out other things like DVDs, audiobooks, etc.? I check out mainly books, of course, physical books, when I go into a branch of the library. On occasion, if I have a road trip coming up, I will check out a book on CD to play in my car. Sometimes I'll check out graphic novels, but I kind of see them more as books. Ebooks and e-audiobooks I check out over the Overdrive system, which is of course affiliated with my library, so yes, I also check out audiobooks. Question number 6, from what section of the library do you find the majority of your books? This would definitely be adult nonfiction and adult fiction. Question number 7, what is your favorite part of using your local library? Well, first and foremost, I love that the library is there. I love the fact that it exists. I love that there are resources there, not just the books, but the librarians and the computers and all of these resources that are really, really important to have in our community, to have accessible to everyone, even people who cannot afford those things in their home. I love that libraries get kids excited about books. They definitely got me excited about books. And I just love going into a space where it's quiet and people are studying and reading and gaining knowledge. It's such an amazing place to be. It's definitely a hub of knowledge. I love, love, love that libraries are still a big part of our society. It makes me feel really happy when I check out a library book and think about the history of that book and who has read it and who will read it in the future. I also love adding to those circulation numbers because that's how libraries get their funding. So I am so happy to support my library in that way. I definitely support my library financially whenever I can. Our libraries are really, really important things for us as a society, and I think it's really important for all of us to chip in. I've always been extremely passionate about libraries. I've always loved my library, and I will always continue to love my library. So that's all for the Library Lovers book tag. If you have not yet done this tag and you love your library as much as I love mine, I would love to hear your answers to this. I was not tagged by anybody, but I love my library, so I felt like talking about it. If you would like to chime in on any of the things I have said in this video, you can feel free to leave a comment below. You can also find me on both Twitter and Instagram at @abookolive, and the link to my Goodreads is down below as well. Thanks so much for watching, and go visit your local library. Talk to you later. Bye.